Okay, good evening. My name is Ahmad Firdaus. I'm a third year PhD student as well. Actually, I forget to put PDP. So I'm funded by a PDP to do this research. So actually, I do the marine renewable energy, but especially in Indonesian waters. So this is the outline of my presentations. So I will talk about my previous research before I came to Oxford. So before I came to Oxford, I did this research. So this research is based on this patent in the beginning. So this is UK patent. So you can see this is the type of the turbine that they have in this patent. So I developed. So the idea is like, if you can see is here, it's actually using the NACA profile. It's actually like the wings in the airplanes. So I developed I moved back to the early type of the airfoil. So I used that to improve the performance of the turbine. So we developed this. So you can see the size. So it's just the very small turbines. So I'll show you what we have in the market at the moment. So we developed this, and then since this is what I envy with the other speakers here. So you can publish a lot of papers, but because it will be related to industrial, very sensitive to industrial, sometimes the people that I incorporate with, they not allow me to publish because this will be in their patents as well. So this is the field test turbine. So we did the turbines, as if you recognize this is in Muara. So we have this, actually this is one of the oldest information in Indonesia. So we have some small channel here. We have coal-fired power plant over there. So we have very huge discharge to do this research. And then we install the turbine here. This, unfortunately, but this is what we have. So actually, a lot of rubbish goes to the channel. So we find out this our turbine stuck by bed mattress. So it's like very huge. So yeah, it's destroyed so we move back to the so that's why we have to move back to the CFD analysis like this, and then we also, so it's better to do it in laboratory. It's more controlled, more. This is what I have before I came to Oxford. And in Oxford, what I'm doing is actually I'm not working in this particular tidal turbine, but I'm working with the environment. I'm working with what happens if I put turbine in Indonesian water. Okay, so this is one of my papers before. So I with the Ministry of Energy, and we also, this is part of the Ocean Energy, Indonesian Ocean Energy Associations. So we try to make a database where is the strongest current, for the strongest tidal current in Indonesia. So we have 10 sites based on the field measurements. And this is just for example, I don't know if you can play it or not, but this is very, so you see, this is the incidence rate. This is tidal, this is not a kind of the river. And yeah, this is the other, this is more dramatic, I think. So you can see that this vessel cannot move at all. This very strong current. So if you see that Indonesians like Saudi Arabia, but in terms of tidal current. So we have very huge potential in this area. So based on this, so I'm trying to tell you that this is our government commitment. So so I don't know we can achieve this or not. In 2020, actually, from the previous presidents, we know that we aim to get the renewable energy around 22%. So it's also implemented in the Kyoto protocols, if you're aware of that. But this is the government's aims in next 2 years actually. So what happened in Indonesia? So the problem is current development is, you can see this is type of the tidal in UK, in US, in Canada. So they very homogeneous. So it's not so much difference, but this is what we have in Indonesia. It's more complex. The type of tidal is more complex, and that's what we call it as Indonesia have very different tidal region as well. So it's not just as easy as we have in UK. And then this is what I found in my first year. So actually I developed these equations. Yeah, so actually, so this term is already developed by I think in 2003, but he only know the interaction of three different constituents. So in title we know as constituents. So I expand this equation, so I put this term. So this term is adding up the other type of constituent to make it more complex, adding up the complexity in these regions. Okay, and then so yeah, this is the derivations of the equations. So I know how to characterize this asymmetric type in tidal when I install my turbine in this region. So how I use it? So this is, for example, this is in wind turbine. We call in wind turbine it's getting bigger and bigger. However, we need to cut to some point to make this turbine can work more efficient. So this is, for example, if you have this is in Indonesian. So as I showed you before, this is the complex type of the tidal. So we need to cut it to a certain level. But when we install the turbines, you have to calculate how long your investment will return to you. So in order to do that, you have to cut it. So you don't have to put very big turbine. You need to make it smaller. So yeah, so you don't have to pay a lot of money to exploit some amount of energy which is not occur every time. Okay, so this is the power capping. So actually what happened in Indonesia is this is what happened in UK and Canada. You can have 70% from the maximum velocity, but in Indonesia you only can. So even though I saw you before the very strong current, but you cannot exploit all of it. Only 40% of it. This is the problem. And the other problem is I can show you. This is the previous paper in UK, in Bamford, in very north of UK, and this is in very south of UK, in English Channel. You can see this. But what I want to show is like if you have in UK, if you have two tidal arrays here, for example, you put tidal array here, you put tidal array here, or you put tidal array here, and you put tidal array, you will improve the power. But what I found in Indonesia, and also in UK, because it's very simple, you can analyze it just with M2 only. So it's one of the type of the tidal consistent. But in Indonesia, we have to do it in at least four consistent. We're using 4 consistent. So this is my model in Indonesia, Indonesian model. So I'm interested in Bali Island because we will have market there. This is the reasons. So this is an example. If I put my turbine in Nusa Penida in its 3 different sites, and I will get this number of in average. So you can see at the moment I think we can replace all entire diesel power by this in particular area. And this is the other problem. So unlike the UK side, when you put all turbines together, here and here, for example, you will reduce the number. You lost a lot of power. So this is one of the crazy thing that I have from my research here. Okay, and also if you see, you cannot just simply analyze it just with the M2 only, because you cannot see that interactions if you use the M2 only in your research. This is the problem, the other problem. So it's a more complicated problem, and then it's more complicated capping strategy. This is more complicated systems. Everything is complicated in these regions. And so you see, this is when I put. This is actually what I have when I calculate in timely manner like this. This is what happened if you only calculate it with M2 only, and then. Yeah, this is what we have in the market at the moment. Very huge turbine. You can see as big as this. But actually, this is what happened in our country. Not so many places actually require very huge amount of electricity. Sometimes they only need very small. So you can see this. So we can see the problem is this, what we call it is a population and electrification ratio. Even though you have so electrification is the number of people over there can access to modern form of the electricity. But you can see that in many places it's very low. However, if you see the number of population is quite low as well. So the problem is if you put very huge turbine like we have in the market, you will lose a lot of money. And my aim is like how if we put some small turbine like this, and it's cheaper than what we have in the market, and can serve for the impoverished community in our country. This is the future target of the research. Thank you very much.